Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaran Jana Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Radha Govinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrta, Adi Lila, chapter 2, text 10. Prakasha Visheshe Tengha Daretina Nama Prakasha Visheshe Tengha Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Ara Swayam Bhagavan Brahma Paramatma Ara Swayam Bhagavan Prakasha Visheshe Tengha Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Ara Swayam Bhagavan Prakasha Visheshetenha Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Hara Svayam Bhagavan Prakasha Visheshetenha Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Hara Svayam Bhagavan Prakasha Visheshetenha Daretina Nama Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Hara Svayam Bhagavan. Matajis. Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Hara Swayam Bhagavan Prakasha Visheshetenha Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Hara Swayam Bhagavan Prakasha Visheshetenha Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Hara Swayam Bhagavan Prakasha Visheshetenha Daretina Nama Brahma Paramatma Hara Swayam Bhagavan Prakasha of manifestation Visheshe in variety Teriha he Dhare holds Tina three Nama names Brahma Brahman Paramatma Paramatma the super soul Ara and Swayam himself Bhagavan the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. In terms of His various manifestations, He is known in three features, called impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the original personality of Godhead. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained the word Bhagavan in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. The personality of Godhead being full of all conceivable and inconceivable potencies is the absolute supreme whole. Impersonal Brahman is a partial manifestation of the absolute truth realized in the absence of such complete potencies. The first syllable of the word Bhagavan is Ba, which means sustainer and protector. The next letter, Ga, means leader, pusher, and creator. Va means dwelling. All living beings in the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord dwells within the heart of every living being. Combining all these concepts, the word Bhagavan carries the import of inconceivable potency in knowledge, energy, strength, opulence, power, and influence, devoid of all varieties of inferiority. Without such inconceivable potencies, one cannot fully sustain or protect. Is sustained by scientific arrangements devised by many great scientific brains. We can just imagine, therefore, the gigantic brain whose arrangement sustains the gravity of the unlimited number of planets and satellites, and who creates the unlimited space in which they float. If one considers the intelligence needed to orbit man-made satellites, one cannot be fooled into thinking that there is not a gigantic intelligence responsible for the arrangements of the various planetary systems. There is no reason to believe that all the gigantic planets float in space without the superior arrangement of a superior intelligence. This subject is clearly dealt with in Bhagavad Gita, where the personality of Godhead says, I enter into each planet and by my energy they stay in orbit. Bhagavad Gita 15:13. Were the planets not held in the grip of the personality of Godhead, they would all scatter like dust in the air. Modern scientists can only practically explain the inconceivable strength of the personality of Godhead. I'll read the purport in few parts because it's a little bit longer. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananchana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this book Caitanya Charitamrita is specifically meant to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially in his feature of Bhagavan, and especially Shri Krishna Caitanya, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the beginning of the book there are 14 verses, very essential verses, and basically the first few chapters of the whole book, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is giving explanation of those 14 verses. And they describe the whole tattva, the whole philosophy behind our Vaishnava science, our Vaishnava philosophy. So now, in this second chapter, first is established the greatness of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how actually he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If I ask you a question, for example, if on the altar we have Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra Devi, and Radha and Krishna, and Gauranitai, from where the pujari should start the worship? Which one he should worship first? Gauranitai, okay? Other answers? The spiritual master, okay, that's a tricky way to come out of the situation. After the spiritual master. Huh? Nityananda Prabhu, okay. So which one, Radha Krishna or Jagannath Baladev Subhadra or Gauranitai? Which one first? We have to worship on the altar. Huh? It doesn't matter, because they are all the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. I was once in Mayapur, because in my country on the altar we have Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Gornitai, and small deity of Sadbuch, which is Mahaprabhu and Krishna at the same time. So I went to Jani Prabhu, who is known as authority in deity worship in ISKCON, and I asked him, so what's the right thing? From where shall we start? I guess Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, because he's the Lord of the universe. But at the same time, like, we have Gornitai and like Yuga Avatara, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But actually our oldest deity in the country is Sadbuch. So he's like the oldest, the most senior, so maybe we have to start from him. And he looked at me and he said, it doesn't matter, because they're all one. So here in Chaitanya Charitamrta, very strongly it is established how Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna. He is not a saint, he is not just a empowered personality, he is Swayam Bhagavan. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. And one can worship him in this way. It is said, Bhagavan Guna Vishishta, the Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is so attractive and has such amazing qualities that you cannot resist to worship him. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining how the different parts of the word Bhagavan actually refer to all these great qualities, amazing qualities that Krishna has and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has. So, Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most beautiful personality. Like if we try a perfect person in this world, if we are looking very scrutinizingly, everywhere we will find some small discrepancies. Something, there will be some problem, something we'll miss. Like someone may have, I don't know, very beautiful face, but maybe not so beautiful body, or all his body is very beautiful, but maybe there is some problem with his ears, or with his nose, or with his teeth. Always there is some discrepancy, some not complete harmony. And even if we find the person with like the perfect harmonious body, if we look in his character, maybe there will be so many discrepancies. Maybe he won't be merciful, or honest, or he'll have some bad habits, whatever. Like something will be there, something will be there. But Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't have any discrepancies in his character. That's why he is Bhagavan Guna Vishishta. If you really give your time and energy to go in depth and find more and more about him, about his character, about his qualities, you will not find any discrepancy. Everything will be complete, harmonious, and perfect. That's why he is the best person to worship. He is the greatest personality in the universe. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport how nowadays in the modern world we have so many modern gadgets and things that are helping, in a sense, development of the civilization. And all these things, they came from great minds of great personalities. And then Srila Prabhupada logically is giving the conclusion, if this is so, if all these amazing things appear because of the intelligence of personalities, what about the whole creation? Naturally should be manifested from even greater intelligence. And this is the intelligence of God, of Krishna, intelligence of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The potencies of the syllables ba, ga, and va apply in terms of many different meanings. Through his different potential agents, the Lord protects and sustains everything, but He Himself personally protects and sustains only His devotees, just as a king personally sustains and protects his own children, while entrusting the protection and sustenance of the state to various administrative agents. The Lord is the leader of His devotees, as we learned from Bhagavad Gita, which means that the personality of Godhead personally instructs His loving devotees how to make certain progress on the path of devotion, and thus surely the kingdom of God. The Lord is also the recipient of all the adoration offered by His devotees, for whom is the objective and the goal. For His devotees, the Lord creates a favorable condition for developing transcendental love of Godhead. Sometimes He does this by taking away a devotee's material attachments by force and baffling all his material protective agents. For this, the devotee must completely depend on the Lord's protection. In this way, the Lord proves Himself the leader of His devotees. So here Srila Prabhupada is explaining that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is taking care of everybody. Krishna is taking care of everybody. But for His devotees, He will take care personally. For everybody else, He will take care through His expansions or through His different energies. But for His devotees, He will take care personally. And the amount of surrender on the side of the devotee, Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. Ye tamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. The way how we surrender to Krishna, He will reciprocate with us. There are different levels of devotees. Some devotees, they are considered advanced devotees, but still they have some contamination in their heart. Then there is another level of devotees which is known as pure devotees. What does it mean, pure devotee? What is your understanding of pure devotee? Like he washed his clothes the previous night, or what? Well, what is the idea of pure devotee? He is pure in the heart, but what does that mean? He is pure in the heart. He is never disturbed. He always thinks of Krishna. Okay, a pure devotee always thinks of Krishna. Okay. I may want $1 million from Krishna, that's why I always think of Krishna, so that He fulfills my desire. Huh? He doesn't have material desires. Okay, very good. Yeah. Okay. So yes, again, he doesn't have material motivation and he's completely surrendered to Krishna. And yes, of course, he always thinks of Krishna. So yes, pure devotee means pure in his motivation. He doesn't want anything for himself in return of his service. Like the way how Narasimhadev asks Prahlad Maharaj to ask for a blessing. Okay, I'm so happy from your devotional service. What do you want? Narasimhadev said. And Prahlad Maharaj said, oh my dear Lord, I'm not a businessman. I just did service for you. And now if I ask something in return to my service, this will be business. I don't want to do business with you. I just want to do pure service for you. So this is a pure devotee. Someone who is completely pure in his motivation. He is doing everything for Krishna and he doesn't want anything for himself. Kadambakana Maharaj is, when he got these problems in Vrindavan and they shot him, he had to go back to his country to recover, to get better. And while he was living in the temple in Amsterdam, one boy joined there. His name was Bhakta Duncan. And Bhakta Duncan, he was very eager to get training from Kadambakana Prabhu at that time, Maharaj. And Bhakta Duncan personally told us, because me and Pandava, we know him, he told us, I was so eager, I was prosecuting Maharaj everywhere. And even when he was inside the bathroom, I was staying on the door and I was asking him questions. And one time Maharaj told me, at least give me 5 minutes to finish my job in the bathroom and then I'll continue. So he said Maharaj was constantly repeating one thing to me. That was like the core of his spiritual training. And what was that? He was saying, everything for Krishna and nothing for Duncan. Everything for Krishna, nothing for Duncan. So he said, I remember this. This is our standard of devotional service. We should give everything that we have for Krishna, and we should try not to take anything for us as much as possible. This will actually help us to live, to work, to act on this platform of pure devotional service. We may not be a pure devotees. We may have so many desires in our heart, but if we act on this platform, we are considered pure devotees at that moment. And although we may not be pure devotees, if till the end of our life we are able to act on this platform of pure devotional service, actually we will be accepted as pure devotees. We will establish ourselves on this position. But still we may have some contamination in our heart, some desires. Oh, I want new car or new shoes or this or that. It doesn't matter. If we are able to act on this platform, we are categorized, we are accepted that we are on this platform. And then after that, there are other platforms of purity in devotional service. Even devotees who are on a higher level than the level of pure devotion. Someone may ask, how is that like? I thought pure devotee is like the top. No, actually there are many, many levels after that. Acharyas are describing, like above pure devotee is a prema devotee. Someone who is not just pure in his motivation, but already he has prema. So he has such a strong love for Krishna. And after that there are other levels of purity in devotional service. So advancement in devotional service never stops. There is more and more and more and more to achieve. But we should not depress from this news. Rather, we should become very enthusiastic that, wow, spiritual life is something so amazing that always there is something to strive for, something amazing that you want to achieve, something to aspire in spiritual life. So actually something very, very nice. And even if we are not super advanced at the moment, like if we look in our hearts, we may say, wait a minute, I have like so many material desires and so many contaminations and so many bad habits, and like where is my position in devotional service? Well, our great fortune is one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that says, Krishna is speaking and he is saying, Aham bhakta paradino hi asvatantraiva dvija sadhu birgrasta hridayo bhaktair bhakta jana priyaha. So Krishna is saying, actually I am not at all independent. I am completely dependent on my devotees. Because they are constantly thinking about me, because they are constantly in my heart, and that's why I'm completely dependent on them. What to speak of my dependence on my devotees? Even the devotees of my devotees are so dear to me. So we may not be great devotees. We may never become really a great devotees. Like the great devotees, they are the disciples of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, like the six Goswamis. They gave the example, they wrote the books, they explained the philosophy. They, with their desire, they attracted the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu so that the movement start spreading. And other acharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. These are the great devotees for which Krishna is saying that I'm totally dependent on them. Their desire oblige me to do certain things. We may not be such class of devotees, but if somehow or other we win the heart of those devotees, then we will also become dear for Krishna. Krishna will be ready to give some mercy to us. So in other words, the way how we can get mercy, we can conquer the heart of Krishna is by conquering the heart of those great personalities who are completely surrendered to Krishna. He, the Lord, is not directly attached to the creation, maintenance and destruction of the material world, for he is eternally busy in the enjoyment of transcendental bliss with his internal potential paraphernalia. Yet, as the initiator of the material energy as well as the marginal potencies, he expands himself as the Purusha avatars, who are invested with potencies similar to his. Who are the Purusha avatars? Okay, the Vishnu expansions. Yes. The Purusha avatars are also in the category of Bhagavat Tattva, because each and every one of them is identical with the original form of the personality of Godhead. The living entities are his infinitesimal particles and are qualitatively one with him. They are sent into this material world for material enjoyment to fulfill their desires, to be independent individuals, but still they are subject to the supreme will of the Lord. The Lord deputes himself in the state of Supersoul to supervise the arrangements for such material enjoyment. The example of a temporary fair is quite appropriate in this connection. If the citizens of a state assemble in a fair to enjoy for a short period, the government deputes a special officer to supervise it. Such an officer is invested with all governmental power, and therefore he is identical with the government. When the fair is over, there is no need of such an officer, and he returns home. Such an officer is compared to the Paramatma. The living beings are not all in all. They are undoubtedly parts of the Supreme Lord and are qualitatively one with him, yet they are subject to his control. Thus they are never equal to the Lord or one with him. The Lord who associates with the living beings is the Paramatma or the Supreme Living Being. No one therefore should view the tiny living beings and Supreme Living Being to be on the equal level. The all-pervading truth which exists eternally during the creation, maintenance and annihilation of the material world, and in which the living beings rest in trance, is called the impersonal Brahman. There is one verse, Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Svarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So it is explained that this verse is describing the absolute truth in 5 features. So the living entities are also part of the absolute truth. We are parts and parcels of Krishna, and we are meant to serve Krishna. But if we don't use this freedom that we have in a proper way, this will bring our degradation. We will have to come to this fair, the material world, and try to enjoy here. And until there is material world, we need a supervisor. And who is the supervisor? Srila Prabhupada is saying the Paramatma. So this is Krishna who is coming here just to see that everything is okay. There are not big problems. And he is always there in the heart of the living entity, and he is the witness. Now, there was a question a few days ago in one class, and the question was, what about Paramatma? It looks like Paramatma already has a certain form, yes, like with I don't know how many hands and different symbols in the hands. But then, why sometimes it is said that uh, the Lord, He appears in the heart of the devotee in a certain form, particular form, according to the rasa of the devotee, according to the mood with which the devotee worships the Lord. How is that? Is this like a contradiction? What do you think? No. Why it's not a contradiction? Okay, so the Paramatma is like a general representation of the Supreme Lord, but then he can change his appearance according to the reciprocation with his devotee. Like, for example, you can have one person and he may be dressed in a certain clothes because he has to do a certain job. Yes, for example, he's a policeman or whatever, army person or this or that. So he's dressed in a certain way, he's acting in a certain way with a certain mood. But now, if you want to reciprocate with him apart from this engagement that he has, he can show you another feature of himself. And actually, this one will be closer to his real self. Let's say if you go to his house and you get to know him as a person and his family and his kids and this and that, all this will be part of his real initial individuality and life and existence. So in the same way, yes, for the purpose of this material world and the existence of the material world, Krishna is taking certain job and he is acting in this role. But then for those who wants to know him in a little bit different way, he can manifest different appearances. He can show different features of himself. And different devotees, they want to have relationship with different forms of the Lord. We particularly want to have relationship with Krishna, yes. And especially which form of the Lord? Radha Govinda. But even before that, yes, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We want to have special relationship with Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because this is the avatar that came to save us. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to save the all conditioned souls, the most fallen souls in this Kali Yuga. Pandava Prabhu is saying, it's funny that Christians sometimes they are saying, actually Jesus came to save you. But actually we are saying, no, Mahaprabhu came to save you. Yes, that's true. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is our savior. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishan Maha, the most merciful avatar, who came personally to give something that nobody ever gave before that. They say Jesus came and to give something that nobody gave before that, but Mahaprabhu actually came to give something even higher, the love of God. The love of God, something that nobody gave before that. So he's the most merciful avatar, and he's the personality who is giving something very, very special. And he's the avatar who has amazingly sweet relationship with his devotees. And he's the avatar that has amazingly sweet pastimes with his devotees. Like I was reading a few days ago how Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is based in Jagannath Puri. Why Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is based in Jagannath Puri? What is the reason? Yes. So just see already here. He is ready just because of reciprocation with his mother to stay in one place. half of his life. My mom wants me to be somewhere around so that she can hear what's happening with me. Okay, I'll just stay in Jagannath Puri. How many years Mahaprabhu stayed in Jagannath Puri? 18 years, yes. 24 years he was sannyasi, 6 years he was traveling in South India, and 18 years he just stayed in one place, in Jagannath Puri. So all the devotees came all the way from Bengal to see Mahaprabhu and to reciprocate with him, to make kirtans with him every day. And then at some point Mahaprabhu said, okay, now it's time to go. You have to leave, you have to go back, you have duties to perform, you have families. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started glorifying all of his devotees, one after the other, one after the other. He was glorifying Vasudeva Datta. He was saying, just see Vasudeva Datta, he is such an amazing personality. He came to me and he told me, my dear Lord, I have only one request. Can you please take all the sins of all living entities in this universe and give them to me? Let me suffer for them. And if possible, let them get immediately liberated. Let them go immediately to the spiritual world. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just see, who can be like Vasudeva Datta? Who can be such an amazing person? Who can ask for something like that? And Srila Prabhupada is writing something very interesting. He is saying, Lord Jesus Christ, he came and he said, okay, whoever is following me, I will save him. I will bring him back to the spiritual world. But Vasudeva Datta, he is even not saying this. Such a great Vaishnava. He is saying, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are following or not. I want to liberate you. I want to help you to go back to the spiritual world. Such a high status of devotion. And then Mahaprabhu said, my dear Shivananda Sena, please take care of the family and of the money of Vasudeva Datta. Because he is so elevated that whenever he gets some money, he is immediately spending them, giving them for this devotional service, for that devotional service. So he never has any money. But he is grihasta, he is a family person. He should have some money aside. So please, you take care of his money and his family, because he cannot do it alone. And then like that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was glorifying his devotees one after the other, showing their greatness and showing how attached he is to his devotees. He was asking devotees to go and bring a special Mahaprasadam to his mother. And he said, my mother, she's so much worried that I'm not there. And sometimes she cooks the things that I like to eat so much, and she starts crying. Oh, if my Nimai was now here to take all these preparations, I know he likes them so much. And I was so much attracted by her devotion and by her crying that every time she was crying, I was going personally there. And I was eating the preparations that she cooked. And suddenly she was opening her eyes and she was seeing that actually the plate that she put in front of the deity to offer was empty. And she couldn't understand, like, what's wrong here? Did I just forget to put the preparations on the plate? Or our Shila, the Shalagram Shila at home, he really ate all the preparations? What actually happened? She was wondering. And then in this situation, she was calling for a lady helper at home to clean everything so that they can do the offering again. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing how attached are his devotees to him and how he is taking care of them. And on another occasion, he said, he called for Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was so humble that he even didn't want to go close to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Especially when Mahaprabhu was going to the temple to see Jagannath, he was always staying outside. He was saying, actually, my dear Lord, I'm considered untouchable, and I don't want to come close to the temple because some of the pujaris, by mistake, may touch my body, and then he'll become contaminated. He cannot perform his service. So I'll just stay here. aloof from the temple, and I'll wait for you here. And Mahaprabhu was so attracted by his devotion and humility that every day personally he was going to see Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was not coming to see Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was going to see Haridas Thakur. And one time Mahaprabhu called for him and said, Haridas, do you remember when the Muslim ruler, he was not happy with your activities, with your prachar, with your preaching, and he told you, either you stop your preaching or you have problem with me. You should stop propagating this Hindu dharma of Harinam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And you were very polite, but you said, sorry, but I cannot stop doing this. This is my life, and so I cannot stop that. And then he became angry, and he ordered that they bring you from marketplace to marketplace and beat you until you die, just so that other Hindus see what will be their destiny if they are doing the same thing. Do you remember this? And Haridas Thakur said, yes, my lord, I remember very well. And then he said, but do you remember that they were beating you on a marketplace after marketplace, and you are not feeling anything? You're not feeling any pain. Do you remember this? And he said, yes, my lord, it was so amazing. They were beating me with these huge sticks, and I was not feeling anything. How is this possible? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, do you know why? Because I was lying on your back, and they were beating me. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned his back, and everybody saw the marks from the beating, from the sticks on his back. So in this way, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showing his great love and devotion for his devotees. And there is another story that I like also very much from Sisi. He called for Gangadas Pandit and said, do you remember one night you were coming back from some place and you were together with your wife and your daughter, and suddenly Muslim soldiers appeared behind you and started following you faster and faster, and you became very afraid. What will happen? What may happen with your wife, with your daughter? And then you were hurrying, and then you came to the shore of the river, but there were no boatmen there to help you to cross the river. Do you remember this? And he said, yes, my lord, I remember. And then Mahaprabhu said, and do you remember that suddenly, out of nowhere, a boat appeared with a boatman, took you and immediately helped you to go on the other shore? He said, yes, it was such a miracle, like out of nowhere this boatman appeared. Mahaprabhu said, do you know what? This boatman was I. I came to save you. So like that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling different stories of his devotees, a story that nobody else knows. And in this way proving them that actually he is Paramatma. He is the Lord in their hearts, and he knows everything about them. And he is the same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who is sitting in front of them. So like that, here it is explained that Paramatma is the feature of the Lord manifested in this material world, but this feature of the Lord Paramatma, he can reciprocate with the devotee according to his desire and according to his devotion. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind attention, questions, reflections, something to add. Looks like no. Looks like everybody is very tired after a whole week of intense devotional service. And today we have even more nectar in the form of Sunday Feast Ki Jai. Okay, thank you very much. Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi.